Today's video is chapter 3, lesson 6. We're going to add and subtract positive and negative fractions that have unlike denominators. The denominators are going to be different. So if the question was negative 3/4 plus 1/6, you're going to ask yourself, what can 4 and 6 both make? Well, and we really kind of want it to be the smallest number they can both make, which is 12. They could both make 24, but it's better, in my opinion, to go smaller because we don't have as much to simplify. All right, if I go from 4 to 12, that's a times by 3 pattern. So then I have to do a times by 3 pattern up here. 3 times 3 is 9. Right here I did a times by 2 pattern, so I have to do a times by 2 pattern on my numerators, and I get 2. Now I have negative 9 plus 2, and this looks like lesson 3/5. 3/5, they had the same denominators. So negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. Negative 7 over 12. Can it be simplified? No, it cannot. All right, you try this one by yourself. Negative 8/9 plus 5/6. Push pause, work it out, push play. Actually push pause and actually work it out. Good luck. Sometimes students try to write it sideways, like right beside it, which was fine, but now that we have negative numbers, I feel like this is harder to realize that 16 is negative. I kind of like what I did over here. I wrote it down on the bottom, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, if I rewrite it on the bottom, it feels like I'm going to include the negative and I'm going to include the plus sign. Putting it beside it used to be fine, and actually I would do that a lot, but with these negatives, I'm just afraid I'm going to forget one of the signs. 1 negative, 1 positive means I'm subtracting. Think bigger. This guy is bigger, so my final answer is negative. Did you get it right? If you used 54 as your denominator, then you get negative 3 over 54, which is harder to know that it simplifies. But 3 goes into both, and I still end up with negative 1 over 18. Maybe you use 36 as your denominator. You'd get negative 2 over 36. Maybe that's easier to say that you have to simplify. But look, if we start with the smallest number, it's just so much easier in the end. So try to find the least common multiple, not any multiple. Try this one by yourself and see if you get the right answer. Remember, I have 2 negatives, so what am I really going to do? And then think bigger. Oh, well, probably it'll be this guy, but then think bigger. Okay, so 15 was my smallest number they both make. I could have done 30, I could have done 45, I could have done a whole bunch of numbers. This is a times 1 pattern, which means it really doesn't change. This is a times 3. That's how you get from 5 to 15, is you multiply by 3, so times 3, and I get 12. Negative 6 minus 12 is really add, negative 18. It's improper, so 15 goes into 18 once, with 3 left over, 3/15. Then I have to simplify the 3/15. 3 goes into both, so I end up with negative 1 1/5. All right, let's work this one out. So the book writes it sideways. When it comes to mixed numbers, I like to write it up and down. 1 negative means I'm really subtracting. If I'm really subtracting, I got to put this stuff on top because the bigger digits go on top when you subtract stuff. So I'm going to write 6 1/3 minus 1 4/7. I like to write it up and down because I might have to borrow, and this just feels better for borrowing. 21 is my common denominator. This is a times by 7 pattern. This is a times by 3 pattern. So I get 7 over 21 and 12 over 21. I'm subtracting. I can't do 7 minus 12. So this was a borrowing question. I come over to the 6, and what do I make it? I make it a 5. I change the 7 into a 28. 28, how'd you get 28? Because I'm going to add 7 plus 21. Because I'm adding 21 over 21, but no one ever writes that. They just remember I'm adding 7 plus 21. 7 plus 21. So that's how I get 28. Now I'm ready to subtract 28 minus 12. Let's see, 8 minus 2, 2 minus 1, so I get 16 over 21. 5 minus 1 is 4. I come back up to my sideways, though. If I look at it sideways, I know who's bigger. When I look at my scratch work, I don't know who's bigger. I come over here and I look at my sideways, and I know that it's positive. 16 over 21. 3 and 7 go into this guy. 2 and 4 and 8 go into this guy, but nothing goes into both. So I am done. I'm done. All right, you try this one by yourself. Pull out your paper, push pause, and work it out. All right, so far I've got common denominators. I got 22. I times by 11. 2 times 11, yeah. Times by 11 and times by 2. I can't do 8 minus 11, so I'm going to have to borrow. If you haven't done the rest of this, push pause and see what you get when you borrow. All right, I got 30 when I borrowed. This went down to 7, and 22 plus 8 is 30. 30 minus 11 is 19. 7 minus 2 is 5. I go back up to the top and I say my bigger guy is positive, so I'm going to add. I'm not going to add, I'm going to make it positive. My bigger guy's positive, answer's positive. All right, you try this one. Remember that 2 negatives means we're really, When you do that, do you care who's on top? No, you do not. All right, push pause. Final answer is negative 8 and 13/24. So let's double check what I did. Since we're adding, 2 negatives means we're adding. Doesn't matter who's on top, but I guess I just put the first guy on top. And common denominator is 24. Times by 8 pattern gets me 16. Times by 3 pattern gets me 21. Add the numerators, I get 37. 37 over 24. It's improper, it goes in once. With 13, you can't quite see, but that says 13. 13 left over. This whole number goes with the other whole numbers. And 6, 7, 8, I get an 8. 8 and 13/24. I come back up to the top. I say my bigger guy is negative. That's why my answer is negative. Negative 8 and 13/24. All right, here are your Google Classroom questions. I have one question right here with 3 parts. So if you look at this question, tell me, what will I really do? Will I really add or really subtract? Tell me who's bigger, the positive or the negative stuff. Final answer. What do you get as a final answer?